Hello there everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Good Game Have Fun. This is me, THP, talking to you guys once again. And of course, you guys know what time it is. You guys are always so happy when I talk about Senran Kagura. That's the only video, the kind of video that I can make to get you motherfuckers to watch my channel. So, here we go again. But hey, I'm not doing this as a cynical attempt to get more views, far from it. I love Senran Kagura, especially when we actually have some news to talk about. And so right here, we have some Peach Ball Senran Kagura specific news. This is actually from the mouth of Kenichiro Takaki himself, and I really want to emphasize that it's Kenichiro Takaki with two K's, Takaki, not Takagi, as how they horribly misspell in this article with Nintendo Soup. I was actually running around the Discord, my own Good Game of Fun Discord. You can find it in the description down below if you want to join it. But yeah, I think Unknown One Died was the user who actually posted the link onto the Discord, so credit goes to you for spreading that out. I was not aware of this. Usually, you know, if it's not a Gematsu, I don't know, I don't see, it doesn't exist, you know? I really should explore more sources and stuff. This is a very Nintendo-specific website, so I don't necessarily go to specialized websites like that, but yeah, thank you for posting it, because otherwise I never would have known. But yeah, we have a Peach Ball Senran Kagura planned for a physical launch in Taiwan and other countries. More gameplay details have been revealed, something that I'm very interested about. This is a very brief article. There really isn't a whole lot in terms of, you know, writing text here. It's just a lot of bullet points, but we're gonna get through them step by step, and I will just talk about my opinion regarding that. I just want to check real quick just to make sure that I'm actually, yeah, there we go. I haven't screwed anything up just yet. But let's see. In a recent interview, Senran Kagura series producer Takagi Kenichiro, so already, like, they're not in tune with kind of the Japanese way of doing things, right? You know, with Japanese names, it's kind of the other way around. Kenichiro Takagi talked about the upcoming release of Peach Ball Senran Kagura, and you're not putting this in semicolons. Oh my god, who wrote this? Galajo? Alright, I don't want to give you a hard time. Whatever, you guys, zero comments. He mentioned some pretty interesting tidbits. These include plans to release the game in Taiwan and whether the game will receive new characters like SK Reflections. So that's one of the things that we were really worried about, because the promotional material, the box cover, the opening cutscene, everything shows only 5 characters, and the 5 characters are the same ones that we see in Reflections, which are the only characters that show up in Reflections. We have Asuka, Yumi, Murasaki, Yomi, and Riona. Those are the only ones in Reflections, and those are the ones that seem to be only in Senran Kagura Peach Ball, and that has left a lot of fans concerned, because I, just as much as everyone else, want to see all of the girls, you know? We all have our own personal favorite girl, and to kind of just cut the cast to only 5 characters in what I assume to be the 5 most popular characters in Japan, Yumi is a no-brainer, and Asuka as well, because she's the protagonist. You can't really have Senran Kagura without Asuka. It's like having Dragon Ball without Goku. And then you have this other odd combination of other characters like Riona, Murasaki, and Yomi. Now, granted, I love all of those girls to death, but, you know, if it was my choice, I would go for, you know, just all of the factions just playing together. I feel like there's a lot of potential for a pinball game such as this one, but I feel like Takaki and his team are kind of doing the bare minimum. At least based on what we've seen with the 7 minutes of footage and the trailer and all that stuff. There is a lot of, like, posters and artwork that show other characters dressed up in animal suits and stuff like that, which kind of, to me, leads me to believe that there will be more characters in the game. Now, I'm still very positive on this. There's some people that have gotten very cynical and just kind of given up. And that said, oh, you know, we're only getting 5 characters, that's it, I'm not getting this game. But nothing in the news has told us that there will only be those 5 characters. I still believe that you will be able to unlock more stages with more characters and more stuff, because otherwise I don't think the promotional artwork would make a whole lot of sense. That would even feel misleading if that wasn't the case. Here they're talking about DLC characters, like other DLC characters post-release. They have not said that there are only 5 characters in this game. Takaki doesn't say that. Takaki says there might not be any post-game DLC, which is fucking weird, because the last time that we had a Senran Kagura game with no DLC was Senran Kagura Burst, the very first game in the entire franchise. All of the other games, even Senran Kagura 2, Deep Crimson, has DLC expansion packs. You know, aside from Burst, there really hasn't been any game that doesn't have DLC. So, it is a little strange for them to kind of imply that there won't be any. Especially now that, you know, with Estival versus and PBS, they have been on a winning streak when it comes to crossovers. You have Ikitosen crossover. You have Supersonico, Hyperdimension Neptunia crossover. You have Dead or Alive crossover. Senran Kagura is almost becoming like the Super Smash Brothers for like pervy ecchi games. And so I would really love it if they kept that ball rolling with more crossovers. But that doesn't seem to be the case here. And so let's just go through all of the bullet points and see what's going on. A lot of this is just kind of localizing the games for other territories. There are plans to launch traditional Chinese versions of Peach Ball Senran Kagura and SK Reflections physically for Taiwan in spring 2019. Also, spring 2019, that's what I assume, that we're gonna get, you know, Peach Ball in the West as well. Some people are wondering if we're gonna get Peach Ball at all. I think we're absolutely gonna get it. It's a matter of when, not if. Or, you know, if we're gonna get it is when. And spring 2019 seems like a good estimate of when we'll get Peach Ball here in English. They're also planning for this bundle to include any and all DLC for both games, similar to the limited W pack that Japan did get in December. So for China and Taiwan, they're gonna get physical releases that come with everything for both games, for Peach Ball and SK Reflections. Any and all DLC for both games. So, that already tells me that Peach Ball will have some DLC. As a matter of fact, when they were promoting the special edition for Peach Ball, there are, like, special pinballs that you can get, special outfits that you can get. It's just the characters, extra characters that we're wondering about. They're not saying that there's not gonna be any DLC at all. It's just, adding any post-launch characters, specifically about that. The main reason they are planning for this physical release is because Taiwan doesn't have a dedicated eShop. So this is not China and Taiwan getting a special treatment or anything like that, you know? Even though I do think that they are. Because, you know, they're actually getting the full finished product in one package. But because, you know, but the only reason for why they're doing that is because, oh, they don't have an eShop. We can't fucking nickel and dime them out of their money. Because they can't. They physically are incapable to. So we have no choice but to actually make a full game, a full product, and give it to them, you know? But because all of the other territories do have a DLC shop, oh, here we go. Have an outfit for $1.99. Have a hairstyle for, you know, 99 cents, you know? That's how they fuck you, you know? Maybe they should just cancel the eShop here in America as well so that all of the developers can actually fucking make a complete, full product. Because then they won't have a choice in the matter, huh? How about that? But anyway, ranting aside, it says, there are no plans to add any post-launch, again, read this carefully, guys, post-launch characters in Peach Ball Senran Kagura. However, and this is the big one, a sequel could be possible if Peach Ball gets good reviews. I really want Takaki to specify in what territory he means by good reviews. Because when it comes to America, good reviews is not really a thing that it gets. Especially right now with Senran Kagura Reflections, we're getting a bit of a critic-user review kind of divide. If you go on Metacritic, you'll see that the critics, even the people that are into ecchi games, have rated Reflections pretty low, and I feel like there's kind of a lack of communication or a lack of understanding as to what the game is supposed to be. I think people expected more out of the game than what they actually got, and so they rated it lower. And I also find that a lot of the people that reviewed it are people that are not really super in tune with Senran Kagura, as say me or other people out there. But it seems like the user reviews, people that are not critics, people that are not writing for a website, have rated it pretty decently at like 60 or 70, as opposed to like 30 or 40. Because it seems like those are more like fans really wanting to get into it. People like me that kind of like the story and the text and kind of just taste the flavor of the characters doing stuff. And so, there is a strange divide there, and I don't know what Takaki is prioritizing. You know, the fan reaction or the critic reaction. And does that translate to sales? Because, you know, when it comes to these games, it's always about the money. You know, just follow the money. If there's a lot of money to be had, if PBS sold, like, super duper well, they would already be talking about PBS 2, you know? But if this pinball game actually gets good reviews, and I'm assuming if it sells really well, then we might get another Peach Ball that is more expanded and that has actually all of the characters. This is probably what Takaki means when he made Reflections. And he said, okay, this is just some experimental stuff. We're just playing with some shit. This is kind of, you know, kind of cheap. And then now they're taking that practice into the Peach Ball game, I assume, with more HD Rumble stuff all over the place. They're kind of iterating and doing bigger and bigger and bigger stuff just to kind of gauge interest. And if there's a lot of sales and a lot of good reviews, and again, I'm talking about this in terms of the West. He could easily be referring to reviews in Japan, because remember, this game is going to come out in December in Japan first. We have no confirmation of the game coming out in the West. I'm assuming that the game is going to come out in the West because it seems pretty tame for in comparison to other Senran Kagura games. And on top of that, it already got confirmed for China and Taiwan for spring 2019. So it's only a matter of time that we get a Western release window at some point as well. So again, not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so, yeah, maybe they'll gauge interest based on the Japanese reviews first. And then maybe they'll bring it over to the West, see how the reviews go there. And based on my personal experience, I think it's going to be like reflections. You know, like critics are going to be down here and fans are going to be up here. You know, I can see myself definitely up here because I've been wanting a Senran Kagura pinball game for so fucking long. You guys have no idea. That's like one of my biggest like genres that I want Senran Kagura to cover. And we're finally going to get it. And I've seen the footage, and it looks okay. So, yeah, I'm really crossing my fingers for this game to be good and for people to really appreciate it, to look past the fucking boobies and actually look at the game. So, yeah, I would love a sequel. Honestly, if Peach Ball is just a test, if it's just like a beta, to be like, okay, people like this, now let's really make the game that we want to make. You know, maybe, like, they'll have all of the characters, and they'll have crossovers and more levels and stuff. If he's considering a sequel, then by all means, do it. You know, I'm super down. The next bullet point is there is no difficulty setting in Peach Ball Senran Kagura. And this is a first. As a matter of fact, every single Senran Kagura game has an easy, medium, and hard difficulty setting. Even the spin-offs like PBS has a difficulty setting. Bon Appetit has a difficulty setting. All of them have that. This is the very first Senran Kagura game, other than Reflections. Reflections doesn't really count because there's really no challenge that you have to overcome necessarily. It's just kind of a visual novel sort of thing, so that makes sense. But for a game like this, where you have to, like, win at something, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you stop and think about it, what would a difficulty setting look like? If you did a pinball game with difficulty, right? Like, with easy, I mean, I'm assuming it'd be more like numbers, right? If you go on easy, you get 5 balls instead of 3. If you do medium, is like the normal amount of balls. If it's hard mode, you only get 1 ball, and, you know, you get less points, and maybe, like, the enemies that show up on the board are more aggressive. I have no idea. I have no idea how that will look like. As a matter of fact, I would have encouraged them to have something like this, because that's would be them, like, getting creative with it, you know? But, I guess they kind of want the design of the pinball tables to kind of just stand on their own, and I think that's cool. So, yeah, no difficulty setting in Peach Ball Senran Kagura, which is kind of a first for all of the games that it would make sense to have one in. The next bullet point is that every pinball table has different countertops. I'm not entirely sure what a countertop is. I think the countertop is when you shoot the ball up, and then you go to, like, a smaller, little, tinier table where you do another stuff. You know how when you play, like, Pinball FX or even actual real pinball, where you shove the ball into, like, a little slot, and there's, like, a little mini game where it's like little smaller, tinier pinball, and you get extra points or whatever. I think that's what a countertop is, but I'm not sure. I'm a big fan of pinball. I play a lot of pinball, but I don't really know all of these things by name. I just call it, like, the small bit thingy. Oh, like the little mini game thingy. I really don't know what they're called. So that's what I think a countertop is. I looked it up on Google, and it seems like, yeah, it's not like the full pinball table. It's like a segment of the pinball table. But yeah, every table has different countertops. Each countertop not only features different graphics, but also different gameplay. So I'm really wondering what this is. The first thing that popped into my mind when they said different graphics, oh, there's gonna be like an 8-bit, you know, Senran Kagura mini game or something like that, right? Or a 16-bit something like. I'm assuming it's gonna be like Evo Land, you know, where, like, they evolve through different graphical styles or something. No idea. Almost like a WarioWare kind of thing, but different gameplay. So that's something that really intrigues me. because we did see the initial gameplay footage, and I was concerned. I remember in the video I said, I really wish for these minigames to not repeat themselves, because, you know, one of the things that would really deflate the fun for me would be that if all of the tables have the same little minigames, and so if they instead preserved 2 or 3 of them on every stage and have all of them be different, I think that would be great. I would very much, you know, rather have that than to just have, like, you know, 4 or 5 that apply everywhere. Have a lot of these elements be table-specific. Really does encourage you to try out different tables instead of just sticking to one. And, yeah, it just makes it more fun. And you can switch around characters as well, so, yeah. There's gonna be, like, a good amount of customization here, it seems. And then the last bullet point says, no unexpected problems cropped up during development. Apparently, Nintendo provided a lot of support and help. What? No, that's something that I did not know. I did not know that. Nintendo themselves, Miyamoto, was looking at this game and says, oh yeah, make the boob jiggle a little bit. you gotta tweak the boob physics a little more on that ball. I can just imagine, like, you know, the creators of, like, Zelda or something, like, looking, like, you know, thinking about how to innovate on this pinball ecchi game. But Nintendo themselves helped in making this game. So maybe that gives them more cred or whatever. Maybe that'll boost some more sales, knowing that Nintendo was involved in making Peach Ball, along with Takaki. Oh my god. Yeah, a lot of support. I don't know what that means. You know, does that mean programming? Does that mean art? You know, like, how much help did Nintendo actually provide? That's kind of my question. But yo, that's pretty funny. Because everybody sees Nintendo as, like, the family console, right? It's like, well, isn't the Nintendo for kids? Why do they have this pervy adult game on it? You know, that's what the general populace thinks. And they could not be more wrong. Did you guys forget that fucking Resident Evil 4 was on the fucking GameCube? Remember No More Heroes? Remember Mad World? A game that was only on the Wii that is super duper violent? You guys remember all of the violent games that appear on Nintendo consoles that all of you seem to fucking ignore? Back in the NES days, you had, like, a Dirty Harry, you know, NES game. And then, like, you know, that's not necessarily a game for kids, right? And, of course, when you look at it now, in 2018 standards, an NES game of any kind is obviously going to seem very kid-friendly, right? But you had, like, Friday the 13th, and you had, like, you know, Jason Voorhees' horror NES game, you know, going there and just, you know, it is like an NES game based on the movies, and the movies are super violent, you know? And, yeah, you had, like, other stuff that wasn't necessarily for kids, you know? So, yeah, since the NES days, since Super Nintendo, Splatterhouse, Doom, you know, Wolfenstein, all of those games were on NES, Super NES, frickin' even, like, other stuff like on the Nintendo 64, you know, Jet Force Gemini got kind of dark, you know, with the ant aliens where you shoot them and, like, green blood comes out of them, and, like, a little child crying in the village when all of their family is dead and stuff like that. Like, there's some shit on Nintendo consoles. GoldenEye, you know, that's not for kids, technically. And so everybody's like, oh, Nintendo is for kids, you know? They're talking about it like it's trick cereal, you know? It's like, whoa, how could they allow something like this? When, like, they have always had violent games on there. Remember one of the launch games for the Wii? Red Steel? Oh, yeah, totally for kids. Morons. So this should not be, this should not come as a surprise. Oh, and another thing. Senran Kagura started off, the beginning of Senran Kagura started off on the 3DS. The very first game came out on 3DS, and so did Senran Kagura 2, which is the best Senran Kagura game. So, like, don't fucking talk to me about, like, oh, how do they allow this? How is this possible? Oh, man, they're gonna censor the shit out of this one. Dumbass, it came out on Nintendo first, and then it came out on PlayStation later. You know, and because PlayStation is more lenient with sexual stuff, it's more overt and has more nudity and stuff. But, like, it started with Nintendo, and Nintendo has been pretty adult-oriented. No matter how family-friendly they've wanted to be. Remember? Bayonetta 2? That was recent. You know? So, and even now with the Switch, with the Nintendo Switch, they have given a bigger effort in actually making more mature games for the Switch. Like, they're deliberately trying to make more adult-oriented stuff because that's the demographic that they want to target for the Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, I can't fucking fathom. I hate it when people say, oh, Nintendo family console only for kids. Oh, why have this violent gaming here? It doesn't make sense for my tiny little pea brain. No, this has always been the case. There's always been violent games on Nintendo. Please stop. So yeah, this is not surprising. But I am surprised that Nintendo directly took a part in actually helping make this game. You know, you think that, you know, even with all of that, they would kind of like be hands-off with this, right? But Nintendo themselves provided a lot of support and help for this game to come out. So there better be a fucking sequel coming out. It could be like Bayonetta, you know? Like, maybe Nintendo can give the funding to publish more Senran Kagura games. They're not developing it, but they're publishing it, you know? Maybe that's the support that they're giving, you know? It could just be money. But, hey, man. No idea. The last little bit in the article says, it seems like Asian fans will be able to get a bite out of that Senran Kagura pie after all. Takagi, dude. Will also tell us whether the sexy pinball game is getting a Western release of the future. Yeah, you know, you can tell that this guy is not really, like, you know, in it. He's kind of saying, well, are we ever going to get it in the West? No, like, if you're a fan, if you follow Senran Kagura, you know it's coming. The question is, when? And if the Chinese and Taiwanese release is going to be in spring 2019, that gives me a pretty good idea that the Western one might be at around that same window as well. It makes sense, because it takes a long time for these games to come out in the West. Like, we're barely getting the Cold Steel 1 and 2 re-releases in 2019 for PS4, and we just barely got Reflections not too long ago. They just finished putting out the DLC like a few days ago. So yeah, you know, you gotta, and Burst Renewal, fucking Burst Renewal has been out for like, what, like a year in Japan? Well, maybe not a year, but you know, we haven't even gotten that in America yet. So Jesus, when the hell are we gonna get Peach Ball, right? So, it's gonna be fall 2018, I know that, but they haven't specified a when in the fall, you know, that's what I'm saying. But, yeah, spring 2019 makes a lot of sense to me, prior to summer. Yeah, to me, pre-summer release for, Peach Ball seems to me like a good thing. And while Peach Ball is coming out in America, I'm sure Takaki is gearing up for SK7, you know, and that's like the big one, you know? That's the big kahuna of Senran Kagura right now. And right now, we're kind of just whetting our appetite. We're kind of filling in the time with all these spin-off games that, you know, I like, you know, even though I can get pretty critical about as much as everyone else. But, yeah, that pretty much does it. Again, there has been no indication of only being 5 characters in the game. That's what they're showing in the promotional material, but there are also other girls in posters, you know, in different outfits. They have not confirmed that there are only 5 characters. And when Reflections came out, when Yomi DLC came out, they were saying, this is the last DLC character, there won't be any more. They definitively said that there won't be any more characters, right? That's what I want to hear from Takaki himself when he talks about Peach Ball. You know, either this is all you're going to get, or no, there's more that you unlock in the game. We're just not gonna add more after that, you know? You really have to listen and read the wording, the wording on this, before people start to, like, freak out and bull, like, oh, no, I'm not buying it because my favorite girl is not in it. Maybe it is. You just don't know that yet. Maybe he's just hiding it for when you play the game and you keep unlocking pinball tables with, like, Hikage or Mirai on it. We know that Haruka's gonna be in the game. I don't know if she's gonna turn into an animal and, you know, you can play with her and stuff like that. So, yeah, man. Who knows? Let's not be cynical right out of the gate. Let's have hope, okay, for Takagi to deliver us a good game. The big thing that I really want is to be able to play, you know, to take the Switch and to flip it vertically, and to be able to use, like, the touch controls to use the flippers and stuff like that. It seems like there's, like, score and information on the side, and the screen does seem a little bit wider than, you know, a usual pinball table would look like. But then again, pinball effects and stuff is, like, completely full 16:9. So it actually is a little thinner. In fact, I'm totally wrong on that. I would love it. I would absolutely love it for me to be able to flip the Switch on its side to be able to play the whole thing vertically. With that alone, that's already a purchase for me. Because I'm a big fan of my PlayStation Vita and all of the pinball games that I had. You know, I had Zen Pinball and Pinball Effects and whatever, and my favorite thing is to take this Vita and turn it on its side and just play pinball like this. I've played so many hours of Star Wars pinball on my Vita because I can just do that. down well as well, you know? You can use, like, the stick and the buttons like it's a sideways Joy-Con, you know? And just play down well with this, and it works great. You know, being able to take portable stuff and flip it vertically is something that a lot of people really don't take advantage of. And so, I really, really want to see that. That's, like, top 3 features that I want to see in Peach Ball. To be able to flip that bad boy sideways. Obviously, when I'm streaming, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'll have to take the tablet out of the dock. But, when I play it on my own, that's what I want to do. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about Senran Kagura, Peach Splash. Are you guys... Peach Splash. Peach Ball. Yeah, they both start with Peach. So, yeah, so Peach Ball, the pinball game, Senran Kagura. Are you guys still hyped about it? Are you guys not hyped about it? Are you worried about the character count? What does this brand new information say to you? You know, like, what kind of stuff is roaming around your mind when you hear all of this? Are you disappointed? Are you happy? I'm personally still waiting on more information. There's still a lot of specifics. What do you guys think about Nintendo actually helping Takaki make this game? That's, like, the craziest part for me, you know? But we have, like, you know, no character-related DLC. We have the Chinese and the Taiwanese release. We have, like, a possibility of a sequel if it gets good reviews. So, yeah, no difficulty settings. The pinball tables are going to be fairly different. So, yeah, no unexpected problems, it seems. So, just take all of this information to mind and go ahead and let me know. You know, give me some feedback, you know, shoot me a comment, and, you know, let's get the discussion going if there even is one that you guys wish to engage with. And, you know, for that matter, if you guys enjoyed this video as well, be sure to give it a big fat sexy like. And, of course, you can subscribe, hit that bell icon, you can comment whatever it is you want. And, of course, any social media links that you might be interested in are down in the description down below, which includes the Discord link, which is where I got this article from. So thank you to Unknown One Died for posting the link on the Discord, for me to actually notice it, and, you know, make a video out of it. And, of course, you know, shout-outs to Nintendo Soup. That is where I shamelessly stole the article from, even though you totally misspelled Takaki with Takagi, and also saying Takagi Kenichiro, you know, even though the usual way of doing it is, like, you know, backwards. But hey, whatever. I'm gonna let you off because the information was actually kind of juicy this time around. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.